This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the morning of Wednesday, November 15th, 2023. I'm Alex Brown. The Indiana Department of Transportation has unveiled what it calls the universe of alternatives for its planning and environment linkages studies of the US 30 and US 31 corridors in northern Indiana. Senior Project Manager Sandra Flum says the ideas to improve the roadways include things that residents may or may not like.
What we are bound to do is to make sure our study is complete. So we look at popular and unpopular things, but things that meet the need in order to make sure that when we look back over this study and when we have a final report, that we can say it was a robust study, that we didn't discard just aimlessly things that didn't work.
The ideas will be whittled down to a smaller list with more specific information on cost and impact over the next year. Elkhart-based Lippert plans to expand its presence in St. Joseph County with a new 800,000 square foot warehouse and distribution center in Warren Township. The company is seeking tax abatements for the more than $50 million project, which is expected to bring 100 new jobs to the county, though a timeline for construction is not yet known. A 5-year-old company in Carmel has filed for bankruptcy reorganization, claiming debts of $8.1 million and assets of nearly $190,000. 3OE Scientific makes a hand sanitizing device called Iggy that kills pathogens with ozone-infused water instead of soap or other chemicals. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
IBJ Media, Inside Indiana Business, and the Indiana Economic Development Corporation invite you to Engage Central Indiana, presented by CareSource, Indiana University, and Old National Bank. You won't want to miss our fireside chat with Governor Holcomb and the Michael A. Carroll Award presentation to Mitch Daniels. Plus, we'll dive into the important issues shaping the region's economy. It's December 6th at the JW Marriott in downtown Indy. RSVP at ibj.com/engage.
A new tax credit worth up to $500 will be available to Hoosiers participating in a program meant for those with disabilities. IIB's Kate Sharon has details.
The Indiana State Treasurer's Office on Tuesday announced the new credit, which will be available beginning in 2024 if contributions are made into an investable Indiana account. The program, run by Indiana Achieving a Better Life Experience Authority, or ABLE, is available to people with disabilities and their caregivers to save up for future expenses and not compromise their access to public benefits. State Treasurer Daniel Elliott said in a news release that the tax credit will allow for greater care for people with disabilities. The tax credit stems from legislation enacted in 2022. Starting after the new year, taxpayers with Indiana ABLE accounts can receive the credit against an adjusted gross income tax. The credit may be one of 3 options, but must be the least amount, including 20% of the total contributions made to an Indiana ABLE savings plan during the taxable year, $500, or the amount of the taxpayer's adjusted gross income tax for the taxable year, which is reduced by the sum of all the allowable credits. Kate Sharon, Inside Indiana Business Radio.
South Bend city leaders are launching a new downtown visioning process. Following the lead of several similar neighborhood planning initiatives, the city's Department of Community Investment will spearhead the effort, which will also include assistance from Pittsburgh-based urban planning company Urban Design Associates. City officials plan to spend the first 2 quarters of 2024 on the downtown effort. The city said it expects to see about $1 billion in downtown investment over the coming years, with new housing, retail, and jobs. A city spokesperson told IIB officials hope to share a draft of the plan for the downtown area by the end of next summer. Carmel filmmaker Ashton Gleckman is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, and entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Alex Brown for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.